Not going right back to begin, ladies and gents. I don't know, I'm not sure what's happening with the technical side of things, but I'd like to introduce myself. It's the peasant, the prodigious, the prominent professor at Proclamation News and Gatherance. I like to think of myself a socialist, a communist, bona fide conservatism. I'm genuine, I'm traditional. I like to think of myself a communist because of my previous. I've been a philanthropist. Like I say, I was a philanthropist boxer. Put a lot of money into charity. Um, I worked in a homeless shelter, a food bank, support worker. I've done quite a lot of things, for charity off my own back. So yeah, I am a communist as such. If it makes sense, it does make sense. And I'm also, as a conservative, a socialist. And what I do here, uh, preaching politics. I preach politics to people. Talk about, not just the environmental, eco-friendly, and pollution side of things, which sociological world, looking at what absolute governance of our sovereignty. The land owns the emissions, can put tax on anything that's harming our environment. Can put tax on it, like emissions, exhaust emissions, carbon dioxide. You got to make sure you got low emissions vehicles, not running the wrong diesel in your engines. So I'm just gonna move on because we've lost quite a bit. I was about 30 minutes into the show, and technical issue, unfortunately. Like I was saying, it's nice for you guys to come by. I mean, you can, like I said, if you find us on Castbox, we are Proclamation News and Gatherance on Castbox and Podbean, and you got a choice to call in, and when you call in, your voice will get heard over the radio. Maybe you've got something good to bring to the site. Like I say, if you come at me with pragmatic and adequate sense to try and build on the show, you're going to get some listeners that try and discriminate the show, and that won't be able to hang up the phone. James O'Brien will not have it. Any radio presenter won't have someone coming in just being hate crime, trying to discriminate them in any shape or form, because this is what I do daily. That's what I do daily. I've been on my cast box for 5.5 hours. I don't just play live all day long. I can't talk for 5 hours. I could, but thinking of that much politics in 5 hours, 5 hours just talking, it's not going to be a great full coverage. I need to breathe. I need to break. I need to think about something else I can tackle. What else is bothering us in society? Bothering you, bothering me, bothering anyone listeners. Got children, you got nephew, you got niece. Kids are big, you know, kids welfare. Kids welfare. You got alcoholic parents, narcotic abusers. Kids welfare. You're worrying about kids welfare. You need to be making sure they're nourished. They've got the right nutrition. They're healthy. They're wealth. They've got a bit of wealth behind them. Good support. Good family support. Doesn't mean they can be a millionaire and you can be a heroin addict. Doesn't mean that at all. 'Cause that's not healthy. That's not a healthy lifestyle. What you're washing your clothes in, it's then going into your kids' clothes. Then kids have got to wear them clothes after you abuse your body. It's not cricket. It's there's no grass on the pitch. It's not play cricket. Absolutely not. We need to support. We need to think logically. Think logically. Kids with parents and they're on alcohol, narcotics. Not good parents. Not good parents. Doesn't mean, well, you should raise an alarm. If you're worried about a child, you should raise an alarm, call the police, because kids' welfare is everything. Kids get another start in life if they get fostered into another family that's away from alcohol and narcotics. They've got a better start in life. No way, no two ways about it. They've got a better start in life if they've got someone that can look after them better than what their parents can. I wasn't brought up around alcohol and narcotics. I know that for a fact. That's why I am sitting here today, and that's why I've always gone Sunday school myself. Even today, I go Sunday school. Obviously not today because of lockdown, but they do the online church service. I do it because I know I'm fundamentally in charge of my thoughts. I'm fundamentally in charge of the way I want to progress. Doesn't matter what I do in life. My next chapter, if it's politics, if it's criminal law, I was an etiquette professional boxer beforehand. Etiquette means professionalism, but I was a professional boxer before, So it's the proof's in the pudding that I'm gonna go with something authoritative. Anyway, ladies and gents, thank you all. Just gonna play a break. We're gonna move on with we've got the vaccine. The vaccine is proving to be very very good. When that when we got the go ahead of the vaccine, England's gonna be back to normality.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's proclamation news and gatherings. It's with the prodigious, it's the prominent professor at PNG. Why get involved? You want to get involved in politics, if you know where to start. Party politics, people politics, help the ecosystem, pollution to our environment. Talk about hydro politics, anything. You want to take a part. You want to have your voice heard. You want to get involved in environmental friendly and stop pollution to businesses such as all kinds of business, farming, pollution of the air. You want to get involved? How to start? Well, I'll give you a bit of detail. Firstly, please subscribe, share. I want more subscribers, more followers. It's the prodigious, the prominent professor at PNG. How to get involved? Speak to one of your local constituency MPs. I'm a Conservative trainee councillor at the moment. I'm looking at all business, the sociological side of things in business. How does it interrupt in our business? Maybe their business too close to a suburban area in a stage of criminology. Anyway, as a member, if you want to become a member, as a member, you can play a key role in the party, supporting the work we're doing in government and contributing the ideas, policies, and future of the party. You'll be invited to join us at party conference and to attend local and national events. And if you're just joining us, once you've been a member for 3 months, you can also take part in the party elections. To reduce our environmental impact, we are no longer issuing plastic membership cards. Please be assured that this does not impact your membership. You will never be asked to produce a card to provide your membership. Our members are our most important campaigners. Your support is enabling us to build a brighter future. It's only about, I think it's £25 a year. I think it's £2 a month. You pay over a month. You feel you like that, have a takeaway at the weekend or have a takeaway once a week. It's nothing, is it? It's nothing at all. Or go to the pub, spending money on, just cut down the activities. You want to help have your voice heard. It's very important. What your membership gets you, does it get you fish and chips? Well, what's it get you? It's very important to subscribe to Proclamation News and Gatherings, giving you the key evidence of what's entailed of signing up with a party. I'm Conservative. I always say it's bona fide Conservative and working on progressive progression. You can help us win elections. All of your subscription goes towards our campaigns. It gets the latest from inside the party. With regular member updates and exclusive member invites. Take part in our campaign groups like our Conservative Women's Organisation, the Young Conservatives, or Conservative Friends. Conservative Friends Group. Meet like-minded people and make a difference to our country. The influence party policy by giving feedback on policy and the briefs. Choose candidates and vote for leadership elections so you can choose the people you want to represent you. Come to party conference and spring forum. Join our MPs, councillors and activists at the biggest events of the Conservative calendar. Connect with local Conservatives as a member. You'll become part of your local association, support local campaigns and attend social events with members just like you. So it's, being part of something, it's like, supporting your local football team, supporting the whole environment. Talk about supporting the government. being in part of something. It's very important to be part of something. You want to be somebody. You want to go somewhere. So you need to wake up and pay attention. Stand for election as a member. You have the opportunity to stand for election as a Conservative. So if you decide that you want to take part in that democracy, you can. This is Proclamation News and Gavin with the prodigious diploma professor at PNG, ladies and gents. Help share and subscribe. I need more listeners. You know, I put a lot of entertainment onto my YouTube channel, singing, all kinds of entertainment, a bit of comedy. I've had a bit of comedy in the recent past. It's worth following my YouTube channel to get an insight. It's good content. It's good. I've got a lot of segments on my YouTube. You know, like an entrepreneur as such. You know, I've got singing, rapping, all kinds of stuff. I'm trying to bring a wider audience into my YouTube channel. It should be a YouTube channel with massive gatherings, but not enough subscribers. So the more subscribers, the more benefit is for me. This is a business, a small growing business. It needs to be backed by the exchequer with a big paycheck, and we get this ball rolling. This is Proclamation News and Gavin with a prodigious diploma professor. This has been going for over 2 years now. Media studies since 1994, 95, I believe. Anyway, guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for giving me the time of day. Make sure you tune in. I'm going to be following through my live content just shortly. Take care, my love, and speak soon.
Thank you for that little break, ladies and gents. I'll tell you what, I'm more in charge of pleasing the people than I am my own life. That is a call from Kafkas. Very important phone call, but this is more important at the moment. Everything else can be on hold until after the show. I'm so thankful you're still listening, you're still tuning in, and you're still getting involved. It's important that I stay in charge of my politics, stay in charge of entertaining. It's not entertainment, but for listeners, it is entertaining. This is I was going to say it's a gentleman's sport, isn't it? It's ladies, you know, sophisticated. It's called a sophisticated sport. People, you know, it's problems in the society. How can we resolve the problems? How can we tackle it together? We can tackle it. You know who you vote for, which direction you're going to go. Anyway, as we're moving on, I just got an email come through. Boris Johnson is addressing the nation at 5 p.m. this evening. Did you what yesterday was it? Yesterday I was talking about Kanye West was in no, it was Friday. No, Friday been Friday. It wasn't about yesterday or Saturday, perhaps Saturday or Friday. Um, Kanye West was running to become president. You can't knock him for trying. You can't knock him for trying. As I say, people that can write poems, rap, you know, if you listen to rap, even songwriters, a lot of their songs are very they're very political in words. Now you listen to Tupac, he's talking about society, how it was all messed up, and that's how he got shot, wasn't it? He's in a suburban area, brought up around hoodlums, and you know the words subscribed in their songs are very, very educational. Who else is Nazar Jones is a he's very fundamentally in you know the way he puts his words across. He's reaching out to the suburban areas where there's trouble in the hood. You know, kids getting shot, kids getting stabbed. That's what you hear about. It's all politicized. Their words. They know exactly what they're trying to get at with the audience, and that's why they get so many people who listen to their music. I've written a few songs myself, and I think they really, really are fundamentally. You know, every word I say in a song really means. I mean every word. I've been going through that. Mine's more not that sort of thing. Mine's more sophisticated in politics and religion and whatever, you know. But I mean, even Kanye West and Nazar Jones, they've written gospel songs themselves. My hair started to fluff over here. Anyway, moving on, ladies and gents. Thank you so much again. Coronavirus vaccine. The coronavirus system. Nothing like rebooting the system. Coronavirus. There's a lot of and ahhing going on there, isn't there, in the critics and the newspaper and saying the vaccine is going to be no good, but they're saying it's more than 90% effective if preventing 19 vaccine being developed by Pfizer and BioNTech Southeast and our fresh hopes that it be granted U.S. emergency use to or forestation within weeks and be rolled out by by year end. By the end of this year, they're going to be into our United Kingdom. COVID-19 coronavirus vaccine injection only. It is hoped the world's first coronavirus vaccine could be rolled out by the end of the year after pharmaceutical giant Pfizer announced the experiment Buvia and German partner BioNTech SE, which are developing their mRNA. The world's first drug makers to show successful data from large-scale clinical trial, a huge victory. We're talking about mid next year, we could be going back to somewhat normality, if not full normality. UK has ordered over 100 million doses of the BNT 162 coronavirus vaccine, and Downing Street said on Monday that 1 million doses, covering up to 5 million people, could be available by the end of the year. Covering 5 million, or 66.6 million people in the UK. Will I be one of them people? Let's hope so. But that's a selfish thing, isn't it? Everyone else still going to be. But is that going to make them clear from the vaccine forever? Because, or is it just cover them for a period? That's what you want to know, isn't it? Is it just going to cover them for, maybe a month, and their immune system gets back to normal, and then they're open to catch? Albert Boria, Pfizer chairman and CEO, said today is a great day for science and humanity. The first set of results from our free COVID-19 vaccine trial provides the initial evidence of our vaccine's ability to prevent COVID-19. To be honest, I'm not actually worried if I get the first vaccine. I'm not. I'd rather give it to more vulnerable people, like the elderly, and kids with breathing problems. That's what I'd rather. I'd rather wait because they're the one the world needs it most, with infection rates setting new records, hospitals nearing overcapacity, and the economy open. With today's news, we are a significant step closer to providing people around the world with much needed breakthrough to help bring an end to this global health crisis. I'd like to also address, some of these homeless people on the streets that are not there by reason of their own, are there by unfortunate. Because when I say by reason of their own, a lot of them are, just going on the street because they're being stubborn to be put in a shelter. Some people are bullied onto the street, not by choice, I believe. I hope to believe. It might be totally wrong, my way of thinking. I could be totally wrong. They could be just being stubborn to get help. They could be absolutely stubborn to get help, or arrogant to get help. But some of them might be by they've got no option. If they're there because they've left their wife or whatever, or their mum dad's house, and they've got there by themselves, their narcotic and alcoholic abuse, then I don't believe they deserve it. They've put themselves there. They bullied themselves with the alcohol and narcotics, not going by their mum and dad's jurisdiction. Anyway, forward to sharing additional efficiency and safety data generated from thousands of participants in the coming weeks, investigators at the study sites, and our colleagues and collaborators around the world who are dedicating their time to this crucial endeavour. We could not have come this far without the tremendous commitment of everyone involved. Also, I'd like to address, because I was thinking when I said that, some of these kids that are alcoholics and narcotic abusers and then put in the streets, their mum and dads are the same as well. So it's not a nice thing for me to say they don't deserve help, because they do. Because it's not their fault. Their mum and dad was, bringing them up on a substance. They know no different. So they deserve help. But are they going to change? That's the difference. They deserve help, and some people should step up and say, you need to get away from your parents. You need to move on and better your life. But it's down to you. If you're going through your teenage years and something is inflicting your life to the worst, you're not bettering it your own self, moving away from your own parents, then you're only at fault, I say. What are the experts saying? Medical experts are elated by the news and said the results looking promising, but warned that the announcement from Pfizer should be Pfizer trial data shows really impressive protection and no reported adverse events. He said of all the current vaccines currently in developing, the BioNTech product always looked like the most bang a buck as it entirely focused on part of the virus that binds to the human cell, the receptor binding domain. The questions around its use about ability to manufacture at scale and the possible toxicity associated with directly injured RNA product. The trial data show excellent results in both of those areas. Really impressive protection and no reported adverse events. The only things we will know for some time is the longevity of the response in all age groups, but assuming antibody titers and high that should be at least as our vaccine currently in trial. Danny Altman, professor in immunology at Imperial College in London, said, in terms of the impact on the COVID-19 pandemic, it is good news, but it's not overnight success good news. Professor Altman, he cautioned that this and others potentially successful vaccines would still and delivered to the people across the world, and this will still take many months. He's added, however, I felt optimistic, and my optimism remains strong. Michael Head, senior research for the Global Health and University of Southampton, said, this cautiously sounds like an excellent result from the phase 3 trials, but we should remain a little cautious. The provisional finds are made available in a press release, and the study is ongoing. However, in the final results, it shows an effectiveness of anywhere near 90% with response in elderly and ethnic minority population. That is an excellent result as the first generation vaccine. This is this has been seen before. The rapidly produced Ebola vaccine generated very high levels of effectiveness and exceeded all expectations. Equally, billions of dollars and numerous clinical trials have suggested to struggle to produce any form of vaccination against HIV. Science can be unpredictable. Former Kramer, a microbiology professor at the Icahn School of Medicine and Mount Sinai, New York, said, these are fantastic results. The efficiency could be higher than expected, and this probably means that, at least in the US, there will be an application for approval very soon. Of course, it would be better to see age-specific data, but I suspect that these will be published soon. Frankly, this is the best news I have received since January 10th. Marilyn Adu, head of tropical medicine at the University Medical Center Hamburg, Eppendorf in Germany, added, these are interest first signals, but again, they are only communicated in press releases. Primary data are not yet available and peer-reviewed and peer-reviewed and economic review. Let's go another few minutes. Thank you all for being loyal, staying tuned, and sharing, and getting others to help build the show. It's important that we get more listeners, trying to get more people involved, and trying to get more people to debate as well. And more debates is important to the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Proclamation News and Governance. It's with the prodigious, it's the prominent professor at PNG. Why get involved? You want to get involved in politics if you don't know where to start. Party politics, people politics, help the ecosystem, pollution to our environment. Talk about hydropolitics, anything. You want to take a part. You want to have your voice heard. You want to get involved in environmental friendly and stop pollution to businesses, such as all kinds of business, farming, pollution of the air. You want to get involved? How to start? Well, I'll give you I'll give you a bit of detail. Firstly, please subscribe, share. I want more subscribers, more followers. It's the prodigious, the prominent professor at PNG. How to get involved? Speak to one of your local constituency MPs. I'm a Conservative trainee councillor at the moment. I'm talking, I'm looking at all business, the sociological side of things in business. How does it interrupt in our business? Maybe their business too close to a suburban area in a stage of criminology. Anyway, as a member, if you want to become a member, as a member, you can play a key role in the party, support the work we're doing in government, and contributing the ideas, policies, and future of the party. You'll be invited to join us at the party conference and to attend local and national. If you've been a member, you can also take part in the party elections. To reduce our environmental impact, we are no longer issuing plastic membership cards. Please be assured that this does not impact your membership. You will never be asked to produce a card to provide your membership. Our members are our most important campaigners. Your support is enabling us to build a brighter future. It's only about, I think it's £25 a year. I think it's £2 a month. You can pay over a month. You feel you like that, have a takeaway at the weekend, or have a takeaway once a week. It's nothing, is it? It's nothing at all. Or go to the pub, spending money on, just cut down the activities. You want to help have your voice heard. It's very important. What your membership gets you, does it get you fish and chips? Well, what's it get you? It's very important to subscribe to Proclamation News and Gatherings, giving you the key evidence of what's entailed of signing up with a party. I'm Conservative. I always say it's bona fide Conservative and working on progressive progression. You can help us win elections. All of your subscription goes towards our campaigns. It gets the latest from inside the party, with regular member updates and exclusive member invites. Take part in our campaign groups like our Conservative Women's Organisation, the Young Conservatives, or Conservative Friends. The Conservative Friends Group. Meet like-minded people and make a difference to our country. The influence party policy by giving feedback on policy and the briefs. Choose candidates and vote for leadership elections, so you can choose the people you want to represent you. Come to party conference and spring forum. Join our MPs, councillors and activists at the biggest events of the Conservative calendar. Connect with local Conservatives as a member. You'll become part of your local association, support local campaigns and attend social events with members just like you. So it's, being part of something, it's like, supporting your local football team, supporting the whole environment. Talk about supporting the government. It's being in part of something. It's very important to be part of something. You want to be something, you want to go somewhere, so you need to wake up and pay attention. Stand for election as a member. You have the opportunity to stand for election as a Conservative. So if you decide that you want to take part in that democracy, you can. This is Proclamation News and Gatherings with the prodigious, the prominent professor at PNG, ladies and gents. Help share and subscribe. I need more listeners. I put a lot of entertainment onto my YouTube channel, singing, all kinds of entertainment, a bit of comedy. I've had a bit of comedy in the recent past. It's worth following my YouTube channel to get an insight. It's good content. It's good. I've got a lot of segments on my YouTube, like an entrepreneur as such. I've got singing, rapping, all kinds of stuff. I'm trying to bring a wider audience into my YouTube channel. It should be a YouTube channel with massive gatherings, but not enough subscribers. So the more subscribers, the more benefit is for me. This is a business, a small growing business. It needs to be backed by the exchequer with a big paycheck, and we get this ball rolling. This is Proclamation News and Gatherings with the prodigious, the prominent professor. This has been going for over 2 years now. Media studies since 1994, 95, I believe. Anyway, guys, thank you for listening. Thank you for giving me the time of day. Make sure you tune in. I'm going to be following through my live content just shortly. Take care, my love, and speak soon.
So, bear with me now, gents. I've got something so phenomenal to say. Like I said, when I get callers, listeners, you can be Labour, you can be SNP, you can be Conservative, you can be Liberal. Doesn't matter if you're left or you're right of the politics. I'm not here to discriminate you. I don't be, have argument like Arsenal have argument against Tottenham Hotspurs or whatever. Football without two football teams, there's no game of football is there. There's no sport without left or right of politics. No left or right, no left or right wing. There's only one bird. There's only one bird. So all of us bringing politics debates together, it's working together as a team, trying to move the country forward. Like I'm saying about Boris Johnson, it's gonna be hard with Joe Biden, but he's got, can we emphasise with his arrogancy? Can we emphasise? That's what we've got to look at. We've got to try and emphasise with the people. We want to be independent. We've got to try and emphasise that through Joe Biden without him getting upset. That's what the UK wants. That's what Brexit is all about, being independent. That's what Nicola Sturgeon is in Scotland, independent. That's what we want back in the UK, is it our independence. Have some right over our safety is paramount, and keeping it's not keeping terrorists out, it's keeping people just no good doers coming here living on welfare, then still trying to earn money, but racketeering way, in a racketeering sense, selling narcotics or getting involved in some hoodlum gang or whatever. Not coming here to better themselves, to be etiquette with a job. Anyway, moving on. This is my job. You can see I'm fundamentally well in charge with my thoughts and my vision of politics, in my philosophy sense, in my academic sense. I can break. I know exactly what I stand for. That's a good start. I'm a socialist communist, and I've given you the facts. I know exactly what I'm talking about. I know exactly what I'm going. Anyway, before we move on, it's going into obviously Biden. He's going to try and affect us with our Brexit. He wants to get the EU passed through. That's his ideas. We've heard a few of his ideas. But one thing I'll say that's good about Biden, which I didn't, I was hoping that Trump would stay in, because we knew what was going with Trump. He's going to get our Brexit passed. Biden's going to come in, try and mess that up for us. But we need Brexit to form our unity. We need Brexit to form our unity. To stop people just coming in without a visa. They need to come here with a working visa, or don't pass go. France have got it, Germany's got it, Australia's got it, Italy is the same, Turkey's the same. Why can't we be the same? Control our border. Simple, simple as, isn't it? Take some back, take back some efficiency with the sovereignty of our land. That's exactly what I say. Anyway, moving forward. US election, like I was just saying, Joe Biden pushes forward with plans for office. One thing Biden, I've noticed with Joe Biden, I'm just talking to one of my friends previously before I've done this. Obviously, I was saying I was doing my Castbox radio. It's been on 6 hours now, but I've been on here just over an hour because I just got cut off, as you guys know, some of you listeners. I was on a call to one of my friends on my Castbox. Um, yes, she was listening, and we said about Biden. Um, Obviously, I didn't really see eye to eye with Biden. I don't know nothing about him, but it was Obama's President Obama's right hand man. President Obama's right hand man. He was the what's it called, Vice President of President Obama, and he's the first white president to have a black lady president as a vice president, which is quite phenomenal. And that's probably why he got in. Um, a lot of people say Trump was a fascist. He's a bit prejudiced, but I don't know. He done a lot. He was agreeing with the Black Lives Matter. I know that. So I'm not going to write. I don't like to write people off. I know you probably heard me a couple of times. I've got to think, religiously now. I've got to think religiously. Like I said, without like left or right politics, there's no bird. Basically, I'm saying, you know, There's no politics. If you've got no SNP, you've got no Labour, you've got no Liberal. Liberal is central government. Conservative are right, Labour are left. You know, without all us makeup, there would be no politics. So Conservative have been in there the longest out of a lot of them. Anyway, US President-elect Joe Biden is to make tackling the coronavirus pandemic his top priority following his win over Donald Trump, his team says. Announcing the first steps in a transition plan, his team said there would be more testing and Americans would be asked to wear masks. Trump, that's one thing Trump done wrong, wasn't it? He didn't take his mask too seriously. On Monday, Mr. Biden expected to name 12-member coronavirus task force. His win remains a projection as key states still count votes. Mr. Trump does not plan to concede, his campaign says. Mr. Trump is launching legal challenges to the results in several key states. There is allegations that they're saying that he was a paedophile. He's still the thing is he's still in the mainstream media. He's still running for president. If he was a class A paedophile, then again, he shouldn't be out in the open. If he was, then again, Jimmy Savile was, wasn't he? So what's to say he was? What's to say he wasn't without visual evidence? Who's watching him every day? Well, if it is true what we read, sometimes propaganda can be made false. So we know that his his win remains a projection at a key states count vote. Mr. Trump does not plan to concede, his campaign says. Mr. Trump is launching legal actions to results in several key states. He has made unsubstantiated claims of electoral fraud but election officials say there's no evidence that the vote was rigged against him. Mr. Biden is forging ahead with his plan for assuming power in January after major US networks called the election in his favour on Saturday. Imagine if his allegations then come out later that they got picture evidence of him being a class paedophile. There's nothing to say that this is fake news, and we do know what the media is like. We all know what the media is capable of, but we also know what real facts can produce at a later date. And all them people that voted him, then find they voted for the next Jimmy Savile to be president. Imagine that impact on the thoughts of the people that voted for him. And they're saying that President Trump was a fascist, but he did support Black Lives Matter quite largely. I must admit, I've seen it myself. I've seen the proof. One thing I did think was absolutely ludicrous. Whiskey, no, I'm not a great fan of Nigel Farage. Never have been. When he's UKIP, then he's um, Brexit Party. Now he's Reform Party. The Reformed Alcoholic Party. the AA Party. He's a man that's a leader. Alcoholic. Not good. He's not going to go nowhere. If you vote him, imagine him as Prime Minister. You don't want an alcoholic as Prime Minister. You don't want a Prime Minister to drink any alcohol, full stop. He shouldn't be. He's not fit for the job. He's not fit for the job. You've got the best job in the land. You're in charge of, charge of the whole democracy of the whole of your nation. You should not be under influence of any alcohol, any narcotics. You're not fit for the job. It's all right to, have a social drink, but not as a prime minister or president. No way. Not in a million years. Because they can do anything controversial at any given moment. The slip of the tongue when you have one slight drink can put the nation to a, absolute bombshell, can it really? You're dealing with the top presidents, the top all over the globe. Something slips their tongue that could put us all our lives all under threat. That's what you got to think. You got to think you want someone fundamentally in charge of their everyday life. No matter what, God throws at them, they can get through leaps and hurdles without no provocations of a slip of alcoholic tongue. Absolutely. That reportedly also includes a slew on executive orders. Written orders is issued by the president to the federal government that do not require congressional approval. amid adversing controversial Trump policies, according to US media. Mr. Biden will join the Paris Climate Agreement with the US officially left on Tuesday. He will reverse the decision to withdraw from the World Health Organization. He will end the travel ban on citizens from seven mostly Muslim countries. He will reinstate an Ob- Obama era policy of granting immigration status to undocumented migrants who entered the US as children. In his first speech as President-elect on Saturday, Mr. Biden said it was time to heal the US and vowed not to divide but to unify the country. Addressing Trump supporters directly, he said, "We have to stop treating our opponents as enemies." He and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris has launched a website for the transition, saying the team will also focus on the economy, tackling racism and climate change. Well, he's got some magnificent ideas, but obviously, like I say, we don't as amazing as ideas are, we don't want to interfere with our country. The projected election results means Mr. Trump becomes the first one-term president since the 1990s. Meanwhile, the General Service Administration, a government agency tasked with recognizing the president-elect and beginning the transition process, has so far not done so. In administrator, Emily Murphy, who was appointed by Mr. Trump, has given no indication when this could happen. Until then, Mr. Biden's transition team cannot access government funds or communicate with the federal agencies it will be staffing. Media reports suggested senior Republicans remain divided over how to react to Mr. Biden's victory, with some refusing to publicly acknowledge the result of the ballot. Republican leader in the House of Representatives, Kevin McCarthy, is told to Fox News that the count of illegal changes should be completed, adding, "Then and only then, America will decide who won the race." A former Republican President George Washington Bush congratulated Mr. Biden on his victory, saying the American people could have confidence that the election had been fundamentally fair and its outcome was clear. He also congratulated Mr. Trump on a hard-fought campaign. What Joe Biden's pandemic plan? The president-elect is vowing a major shift on the way to the White House approaches coronavirus after Mr. Trump repeatedly downplayed its gravity and resisted public health measures, including wearing masks and social distancing. The Biden team, he said, will ensure the American had access to regular and free testing, provided clear, consistent, evidence-based guidance. The task force will be led to former Surgeon General Vivek Murphy and former Commissioner of Food and Drug Administration David Kessler. Mr. Biden also wants the rules mandating the wear masks across the country, which he says would save thousands of lives. He plans to call on every American to wear a mask when they are around people outside their own household and wants state governments and local authorities to make this obligatory. The president-elect has regularly appeared in public wearing masks, while Mr. Trump has largely avoided doing so. US cases rose by more than 100,000 on Saturday for the fifth day in a row, while more than 237,000 people have died. Earlier this month, top US virus expert Dr. Anthony Fauci said the US could not possibly be positioned more poorly as the country approached winter and people spent more time congregating indoors. Mr. Biden also announced plans to reboot the virus-hit US economy, which has seen millions of more people becoming unemployed. By boosting manufacturing, investing and infrastructure, making childcare more affordable, and reducing the wealth gap between different ethnic groups. How will he tackle systemic racism? In another break with the Trump era, we saw Mr. Trump accused of stoking of racial tensions and failing to condemn white supremacist groups. Mr. Biden aims to make addressing racism an essential pillar of his administration. He wants measures including better access to affordable housing for black and minority communities. Fair treatment and paperwork is enabling the Federal Reserve, the US central bank, which sets monetary policy to do more to reduce racial wealth disparities. Mr. Biden also wants to transform US policing by banning use of chokeholds, as have been involved in high-profile deaths at the hands of police, stopping the transfer of weapons of war to police forces and creating National Police Oversight Commission. He further plans to reduce the US prison population, which is more than 2 million people, is is biggest in the world and includes disproportionate number of black minority inmates and focus more on redemption and rehabilitation. Let's have a look at what Trump's plans are. President Trump will hold a series of campaign-style rallies across the country to build support for legal rights changing the outcome. Campaign spokesperson Tim Morton was quoted by Reuters news agency as saying, BBC projected Mr. Biden victory on Saturday after gains in the key battlegrounds of Pennsylvania and Nevada propelled him over 270 electoral college vote threshold required to clinch the White House. Is Mr. Trump being a bad loser? That's what he wants to focus on. Focus on that he's not being a bad loser. He wants to, not being a sore loser. And then if he comes to terms he has lost, he's just got to try and win his votes back for the next election. That's all we can do. Just work on. Tony Blair's still in that, still in still in the House of Commons. He's still doing his bit for the Labour Party. Still keep yourself involved, Mr. Trump. That's all we can advise you. Being a bad loser, coming away from your job, it just shows a bad loser. You've got to stay involved in the country. Mr. Trump has spoken in public since the numbers were announced, but he repeated previous claims of voter and fraud in tweets, which have been marked by Twitter as a disputed claim. After Mr. Biden was projected to win, Trump remained defiant, saying Mr. Biden was falsely posing as the winner and insisting the election was far from over. The president took more than 70 million votes, the second highest tally in history. Mr. Trump has vowed to contest the election results on several fronts. A recount will be held in Georgia, where the margins are tight, and Mr. Trump wants the same as Wisconsin by recounts where he changed results. He's also shown a vow to legal action to the Supreme Court, alleging voting fraud without evidence. If the election result is challenged, it would require legal teams to challenge this into state courts. State judges would then need to uphold the challenge and order to recount, and Supreme Court justice could then be asked to overturn the ruling. What will happen next? Votes in some states are continuing to be counted as a result as never official until final certification, which occurs in each state in weeks following an election. This must be done before 538 chosen officials electors from the Electoral College. The official decides who wins the election, meeting their state capitals to vote on the 14th of December. The electoral votes usually mirror the popular vote in each state. However, in some states, this is not a formal requirement. The president is officially sworn in office on 20th January after transition period to give them time to appoint cabinet ministers and make plans. Handover of power takes place in a ceremony known as the inauguration, which is held on the steps of the Capitol building in Washington, D.C. Like I say, if Biden sticks with his own politics and not gets involved in ours, we want to become independent, I've got no problem. But it's when he starts to intervene with our independence, becoming Brexit. With everyone's been wanting Brexit since Brexit remains when Theresa May set it up. If he then gets involved in our nation, he's been put to look after America, not put to interpret into UK domain. We don't want to be run by another speaker from another country. We need Northern Ireland. No, is it Northern Ireland or Republic of Ireland? Northern. I'm pretty sure Northern Ireland is independent. Northern Ireland is independent. Republic of Ireland is part of the UK. Northern Ireland is independent. We need to become independent with Brexit and with England and now UK. Absolutely. We're going to have another little short break, guys. We've got a little bit more to get through. I'm really enjoying it. Just before I move on with my usual break that I have, I just want to outline, I was talking about children. Children. Our children take on lives. They jump in front of trains. They're being bullied at work, aren't they? Not bullied at work, bullied at school, sorry. Being bullied at school. You know, us as parents should be making sure our kids are alright when they come home from school. You can check on a child's face if a child, run down. Could be due to teacher reading books, or could be because you've been talking or whatever. But you need to find out, make sure your child's alright, not being bullied, not being picked on. Most childs won't open up, but you need to give them that sense that they're open to talk to you about anything. You got, take them out. You got, sometimes take them out. Pleasure kid is in the way of we're going to go. I don't know, McDonald's their favourite treat. You shouldn't be really treating them too much on takeaways, I must admit. But give them that, open up to you, that you love your child. Let him open up to you, because it's the kids that take on lives. And if your child opens up to you as a parent and says he's been bullied at school, you need to act fast. You go straight to the headmaster. Go straight to the headmaster. Say you want it solved before it's too late. Wish your, raise your awareness that kids have been taking their own lives due to people being bullied, and you want it sorted ASAP. If it's not sorted, either call the police, say to put our prime minister, our head teacher's not sorting the problem out. If they don't sort it out, you take your kid out of school. As simple as that. You get it written, write a note, write a letter, so you want him to sign it. I don't want my child in school. You're not making action of my child being bullied. And take him out of school till you get another school for the child. Simple as that. So you're not happy with my child coming home, either bruises or in tears, upset with the way he's been treated. You need your child taken out of school or separated from the other child that's bullying. Because if it ain't separated by the one child, could be getting bullied by a group. It needs to make action fast. It happens a lot. You see kids jumping off. This kid jumped off a bridge not far up my road, so I don't want to say too much because it's right on my doorstep, and listeners could be here, and I don't want to upset anyone. But you're just going for the break, ladies and gents. Thank you all for listening.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Proclamation News and Gavins. It's with the prodigious, it's the prominent professor at PNG. Why get involved? You want to get involved in politics, but you don't know where to start. Party politics, people politics, help the ecosystem, pollution to our environment. Talk about hydropolitics, anything. You want to take a part. You want to have your voice heard. You want to get involved in environmental friendly and stop pollution to businesses, such as all kinds of business, farming, pollution of the air. You want to get involved? Know where to start. Well, I'll give you a bit of detail. Firstly, please subscribe, share. I want more subscribers, more followers. It's the prodigious, the prominent professor at PNG. How to get involved? Speak to one of your local constituency MPs. I'm a Conservative trainee councillor at the moment. I'm looking at all business, the sociological side of things in business. How does it interrupt in our business? Maybe their business too close to a suburban area in a stage of criminology. Anyway, as a member, if you want to become a member, as a member, you can play a key role in the party, supporting the work we're doing in government and contributing the ideas, policies and future of the party. You'll be invited to join us at party conference and to attend local and national events. And if you're just joining us, Once you've been a member for 3 months, you can also take part in the party elections. To reduce our environmental impact, we are no longer issuing plastic membership cards. Please be assured that this does not impact your membership. You will never be asked to produce a card to provide your membership. Our members are our most important campaigners. Your support is enabling us to build a brighter future. It's only about, I think it's £25 a year. I pay, I think it's £2 a month. You can pay over a month. You feel you like that, have a takeaway at the weekend or have a takeaway once a week. It's nothing, is it? It's nothing at all. Or go to the pub. You know, spending money on, just cut down the activities. You want to help have your voice heard. It's very important. What your membership gets you, I mean, does it get you fish and chips? Well, what's it get you? You know, it's very important to subscribe to Proclamation News and Gavin. It's giving you the key evidence of what's entailed of signing up with a party. I'm conservative. I always say it's bona fide conservative and working on progressive progression. You can help us win elections. All of your subscription goes towards our campaigns. It gets the latest from inside the party. With regular member updates and exclusive member invites. Take part in our campaign groups like our Conservative Women's Organisation, the Young Conservatives, or Conservative Friends. Conservative Friends Group. Meet like-minded people and make a difference to our country. The influence party policy by giving feedback on policy and the briefs. Choose candidates and vote for leadership elections so you can choose the people you want to represent you. Come to party conference and spring forum. Join our MPs, councillors and activists at the biggest events of the Conservative calendar. Connect with local Conservatives as a member. You'll become part of your local association, support local campaigns and attend social events with members just like you. So it's, you know, being part of something, it's like, you know, supporting your local football team. You're supporting the whole environment. Talk about supporting the government. It's being in part of something. Very important to be part of something. You want to be something. You want to go somewhere. So you need to wake up and pay attention. Stand for election as a member. You have the opportunity to stand for election as a Conservative. So if you decide that you want to take part in that democracy, you can. This is Proclamation News and Gavin with the prodigious Diploma Professor at PNG, ladies and gents. Help share and subscribe. I need more listeners. You know, I'll put a lot of entertainment onto my singing, all kinds of entertainment, a bit of comedy. I've had a bit of comedy in the recent past. It's worth following my YouTube channel to get an insight. What's, you know, it's good content. It's good. I've got a lot of segments on my YouTube. You know, like an entrepreneur as such. You know, I've got singing, rapping, all kinds of stuff. I'm trying to bring a wider audience into my YouTube channel. It should be a YouTube channel with massive gatherings, but not enough subscribers. So the more subscribers, the more benefit is for me. This is a business, a small growing business. It is in fact like an extra or a big paycheck, and we get this all rolling. This is Proclamation News and Gavin with a prodigious Diploma Professor.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Got a little short while left. I just want to, do you know what I want to say? I don't know if anyone else says it. If you're wearing your mask, you're washing your hands, you're applying to the rules. You're applying to the rules. Simon says, put your mask on, wash your hands. You've done what Simon says. You're working along your authority. You know, imagine if there were. I mean, this is, you know, it's a massive crisis. It's absolute life threatening. People protesting. People are protesting, going against it. Imagine if there's an airstrike. Oh, I'm going to go shopping. I'm going to risk my family's lifetime shopping today. We could get blown out, you know, blown out of the water. We could actually get, you know, absolutely obliterated. But we're going to take kids shopping, putting your whole family at risk. You know, you going shopping without a COVID mask on, putting your kids, your nephew, your niece, your mum, your dad, putting all their lives at risk. So I just want to say, for the people that are listening, the people that have been applying for the rules, I just want to say, well done. I want to say thank you, you know, because it ain't big and ain't clever to go against the rules and protest and act stupid. We watch football hooliganism. You know at the time it's big, it's clever. You get involved in hooliganism. Sit back and think about it. That could be someone's dad that you just kicked their head in with your teammates. It happened to me one. 15 big blokes, really big blokes. 15 big blokes kicked me to a pole. I could be sitting here as a world champion boxer. Not that I'm worried. I'm not worried. It doesn't bother me because I still know what I'm capable of, even with the injuries. I still know what I was capable of, and I'm still sitting here, you know, fundamentally in charge of what I've always wanted to do. So it doesn't matter. I plan A, plan B, whichever way I'd have gone, I'd have done well at my job, and I did. I was pragmatic with my job, very adequate with my job. I was a professional boxer with a head injury, secondary Raynaud's disease. I had all the odds against me. And I fought my demons with that head injury that I got in 2000. Many wouldn't have done. Many wouldn't have walked out their front door again after the doctor said you ain't better to walk ever again. 2 years it took me to get my balance back on my feet and to fight a big fight and to say nothing in this world is going to defeat me. And I'm still here today giving out the good news. But anyway, I'm saying well done for applying the rules. I've gone well out of context. I don't know how we got onto that subject, but yeah, let's moving on. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for paying attention, and well done for taking applying the rules. That was the thing I wanted to outline the most before I got into my narcissistic self. But yeah, I'm saying whatever hits you in life as well, never give up. And don't join. Ain't big. That's what I'm saying. That's why I got into it because that ain't big and ain't clever going against your authority. Believe me, because it always come back to bite you in the backside. Could be a bullet by a policeman if you're acting out of character and have to use level 2 force for your incompetence at your own stupid will. Brexit. EU and UK negotiated resume trade talks in London. EU and UK officials have resumed trade talks in London at the start of another key week for the negotiations. Hope Joe Biden doesn't make it too awkward. They're trying to bridge what the two sides have said are still significant differences in fishing quotas and competition issues. Boris Johnson said on Sunday that the outlines of the agreement were clear as and a deal was there to be done. But he insisted the UK is prepared to leave the single market and customs union on the 31st December without an agreement. The EU chief Brexit negotiator Michael Barnier and his UK counterpart Lord Frost are in the race against the clock to conclude the future economic partnership in time for it to come into force when the post-Brexit transition period ends on the 31st of December. UK left the EU on the 31st January but continues to follow the bloc rules until the end of the year. If there's no agreement at that point, trade between the two will default the World Trade Organization (WTO) rules, with tariffs set to be introduced on many imports and exports, which could push up costs for firms and consumers. That's what we don't want. That's what we do not want. We want to keep on a good side of the WTO, absolutely, because you know what it's like with China and all the other organisations, Asia, Southern America. We need them on board. Most America is partly in with the EU, so for some reason I don't know why they get involved with the EU. I don't know. Both sides say they want to avoid this, although the EU has said it will not do a deal at any price. The UK has said it is prepared to accept what it calls Australian terms, exactly, which it concedes a limited sector by sector agreements mirroring those the EU currently has with Australia. But it would mean UK would largely be trading on WTO rules. Mr Johnson told the Associated Press on Sunday that a more comprehensive deal on trade in all goods and services based on the EU's agreement with Canada and there to be done, and was there to be done. Always been a great enthusiast for a trade deal with the European friends as partners, and he said the broad outlines are pretty clear. We just need to get on and do if we can. Following a phone call with Mr. Johnson on Saturday, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said some progress had been made in recent weeks after the EU agreed to discuss specific legal texts. But she said large differences remained over the question of access to the British fishing waters from 2021 and regulation on workers' rights, environmental protection, and state aid designed to maintain a level playing field ahead of a visit for London. Mr. Banner tweeted that any deal must respect the interests and values of the EU and its 27 member states. The meeting comes as the House of Lords looks likely to vote down controversial clauses in the government's internal market bill. Clauses would give ministers powers to override parts of the Brexit withdrawal agreement reached with the EU, including obligations on state aid rules. US President-elect Joe Biden has previously been openly critical of the bill, fearing it could lead to a hard border between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, and has warned this could be a deal breaker for any US-UK trade deal. I mean, it's like that in the past, and it's possibly going to be like it in the future. Is it going to be a big deal for Ireland? Speaking to the BBC, Environment Secretary George Eustace said the bill was all about protecting peace and stability, arguing that it ensured Northern Ireland businesses have unfettered access to the Great Britain markets. But Conservative peer Michael Howard is opposed to the bill, alongside Labour's Charlie Falconer, who told BBC News the government should stop digging. He argued that the bill would push the EU into having to close the border between Northern Ireland and Ireland to protect the bloc's single market. In Ireland's Foreign Affairs Minister Simon Coveney described that Mr Biden as a real friend of Ireland and added that his election would give Downing Street pause for thought. Ensure that the Irish issues are prioritised as we try to close out this phase of the Brexit negotiation. While Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer told LBC a Biden presidency would bring a degree of clarity to the Brexit talks. He said the UK-EU negotiations would be helped by Mr Biden's clear stance on Northern Ireland peace process. Do you think Mr. Mr. Starmer is doing a better job than Jeremy Corbyn? It's hard to say, I must admit. We don't know Starmer that well. Obviously, we only heard a lot of the bad stuff that he's done in the past. He's doing some good bits in Labour, trying to stop the anti-Semitism, but there's still fascist commitment going on in the party against Islamophobia threats. Which Jeremy Corbyn wasn't against Islamophobia, I have you know. He was very for the Islamic State, but it's anti-Semitism. So it's as broad it is. It's broad it is long, basically, with Sir Keir Starmer at the moment. I don't know what to say. I don't suggest. And like I say, I'm not here to put the left and the right because there's good in the left hand side and it's good in the right and bad in both. So I'm not here to put either side down because there's some also there was some Islamic MPs, but one of them left because they was getting bullied. They was getting bullied. One of the ladies in Island, I believe. Yeah, it was Island. I was talking about it just recently on one of my shows. She's left the Labour Party because they was getting bullied. She was a secretary. I'm trying to think. Foreign secretary, I believe she was, and she's left for being bullied by fascism statement in the commitment in the party. It's happened a couple of times. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for listening. Oh, I know before I go, Tony Blair has been hurling some fascist abuse at Priti Patel, opposing party as well, in the Commons. That's another statement. It could be influence or the alcohol, who knows? But like I say, he's going to be a good MP. He's a former Prime Minister. Should know better not to mix with alcohol while you're in that sort of environment. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for listening. It's Proclamation News and Gatherance. like I say, I would like people to interact with the show, have some debates, what's going on in their constituency, even talk about your own party politics, whatever's evolving a bit of an issue. Could be public housing, the prices, the rent is up. You can't afford the cost of living on universal credit. There's not enough food to support your family. You're not getting enough money for clothing. Maybe your mobile phone tariff is too expensive. Or you got some problems in your environment. You got alcoholic problem or narcotic problem. You want a bit of help or support, a bit of guidance, what to do, how to keep active in such circumstances as pandemic lockdown. We're having an absolute pandemic crisis. I've been on my own for the last, like I'm living on my own. I'm not saying I'm on my own. I've got no one here for me. I've got people around me now, but I mean, I don't need them every day. I'm 6 days on my own. Um, 6 days on my own out of 7 days, literally inside my house doing the same thing, day in, day out. Keeping focused is what I'm doing. Very, very focused. You've got to keep your mind active. Doesn't matter where you are. So I don't have people in my house because we're in lockdown. I'm in lockdown on my own. I keep myself focused. No TV, no TV, pure politics, pure studying politics. I've been studying politics since 9 o'clock this morning. And when I tune off, I'm going to eat my dinner, do a bit of artwork, then bedtime. Anyway, ladies and gents, thank you all for tuning in. A future reference, I'm on Castbox, Proclamation News and Gatherance. You want to talk about anything, maybe your name, mother, father, or you got a sister or brother or something that's the same, you need a bit of guidance, what to do, how to tackle it, or you got a second-hand goods that you bought just recently and you want to take it back, just a bit, it's good. A problem shared is a problem halved. We all get high rate in such circumstances. Say I went to a computer shop, bought a computer or phone, the device is packed up, you're high rate. You're high rate, you need someone to talk to. Sharing that problem is a problem halved. So always welcome to call in and tell me your decree of your such circumstances to your provocation. Well, you got a car, you bought a car, you bought a car of someone, but sold as seen. That's what the seller will say. Sold as seen, even though your engine overheated and blew up down the road. But call in anything that's causing your provocation in your general day-to-day life. Call in. Looking at buying a house, I'll give you some ideas. Very, very fundamentally in charge of anything I do in life. How I walk out the door. If I had £1 million in my pocket, what do I look for if I bought a house? Is it close? Has it got, you want to look at the deeds of the house, making sure there's footings underneath your brick mortar. Is it sitting on footings, not just soft ground where it could subsidise and have crack repairs? Loads of things to think about. Damp proof. If you've got cracks in your wall, you can have damp mould coming through. All things to think about. Is an oak tree nearby? Oak tree or pine tree? Anything that could prevent more cracks in the house. Lots of things to think about as well. Children close to amenities, schools. What about, is it good? You got to think for your wife and yourself. Is it for business movement? Lots of things to think about. Is it near a public school, private school? What can you afford? Lots of things to think about. Think first, think safety. Proclamation News and Gatherance. Over and out, ladies and gents. I am what am I? Socialist and a communist. Thank you very much. PNG, Proclamation News and Gatherance. Sugars, 2 sugars, shaken, not stirred. Bob. God bless, take care, one love. Back tomorrow.